That's my fault.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Start off with the adoption of the agenda, but I've got an addition to the agenda. I'd like to get a motion to approve. And it's under in camera, and it'll be personnel, advice from officials, and it's FOIP 24 bracket 1 bracket B bracket I.
I'll prove that.
No, you'll make a motion.
Motion.
Okay, question.
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger for unanimous consent to add the following to the agenda. It'll be 17 in camera E, personnel, VoIP section 24, bracket 1, bracket B, bracket I.
All in favor? Carried unanimous. Okay. Approval of the amended agenda, please.
I can make that motion.
Councillor Moore? All in favor? Carried. Regular minutes, November 26th meeting. Any comments, questions? Craig, any grammar?
No, everything looked great. Therefore, I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as the minutes as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, we will, we need a motion to close our meeting, right? To start a public?
Adjourn to the public hearing.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion to adjourn to the public hearing.
Councillor Carlson? Question?
Moved by Councillor Carlson to adjourn the regular meeting to hold the public hearings at 7:01 p.m.
Okay. I'd like to open this public, we don't need a motion to open the public meeting? We do.
You need to
No, we
vote
don't
on-
do enough of these to remember all that.
Yeah, you need to vote on the previous motion as well.
Oh, I
think
skipped
there
that,
was
didn't I? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Motion to open the public hearings for bylaw 1652 and bylaw 1657.
I'll make a motion that we open up the floor for public hearing to discuss bylaw 1652 and 1657.
All in favor? Carried. Okay. Mary?
Gavin
Gavin's
is
here for-
on behalf of Old Man River Regional Services Commission to present on bylaw 1652, the land use bylaw amendment.
Mr. Mayor, Council, for your decision tonight, we have a proposed bylaw. There is an outline in your package as to the background of this bylaw. It really has mainly to do with the changes at the MGA. The changes there have to do with things like processing permits. There's now a 20-day processing for permits, whereby you have to deem that permit complete within those 20 days. That process is outlined in the Municipal Government Act for both subdivision and development. Clarification also within there regarding the appeal period. There was always a 7-day mailing period that was in the Interpretation Act, and that was always understood, but they've embedded that now into the MGA with the 21 days, that's 7 days mailing, 14 days for your appeal. There are several other changes that are being proposed in the bylaw. Some of them are cleanup in the bylaw, things that were maybe just a little long in the tooth, and some things are just misaligned with changes in other legislation, including the federal government. And then we had some cleanup in the bylaw, things that we talked to the NPC regarding, and they were okay to move these things forward to you. They include changes to alternative energy, solar, again some more shipping container changes, some sign changes, and that essentially is it for the changes. If you have questions, I will certainly do my best to answer.
Okay, I would open it to the floor for any questions anybody has on this. And council, if any of your councilors have any questions on any of the changes, they're all in red.
No, I thought it was laid out good.
Just the subdivision part, that was just added into this one to make it one, right? Rather than having it a separate bylaw, or that's all new material?
Yeah, we had a subdivision section and that section has been expanded to include this 20-day stuff as well as a couple other things. So really, there's a bunch of additions.
I just can't, drive me nuts not being able to see it.
So yes, we had a subdivision section in the bylaw, and there was additions made to that section, requirements of the MG.
Any other questions?
This is second and third reading of this then?
Well, we'll be coming up. This is just a public hearing. That's all this is. Well, if there's no further questions on that, I'll move on to bylaw 1653.
57.
7. Yeah, I was picked up third reading right under it.
We have a, she's a PowerPoint presentation here tonight,
I'm
Mr.
getting
Mayor,
out
so
here.
we'll need you to slide to the. So we have representatives here tonight from WSP to present the area structure plan. Trent was here at the last meeting, and sort of Chuck. And you, Loren.
Alright, so my name is Lauren Gagatek and I represent WSP. I'm a planner with them in the Calgary office. I'm going to present to you some background on the Starland Business Park Area Structure Plan, basically how we got to where we are today and for public hearing today. So for just an overview of how the presentation is going to go, we'll do a background, just where we are today, introduction of what's included in the Area Structure Plan, existing conditions that are on the site currently, the policy context which the area structure plan aligns with, the development concept that was informed through the MDP, the transportation concept, servicing concept, how the plan will be implemented when it's built out, and then at the end, if you could hold your questions until number 9, and then we can answer anything outstanding for you. So we started at the end of May, where we began some of the background reports that informed the development concept, the biophysical impact assessment, historical resources analysis, the environmental assessment, the geotechnical assessment. We hosted a public open house on September 18th, and a bunch of you guys were there. Then we submitted the first draft on October 26th. The first draft was informed through from some of the comments from the public and from the landowners. Then we revised to the second draft. First reading was last week and Trent was there, and we're on public hearing today. The overall vision of the area structure plan is to provide guidance for the orderly expansion of industrial development and to ensure that the area structure plan fits with existing development within the town as it exists, and also taking advantage of Highway 2 and Highway 520. The purpose is to describe how 70 hectares of farmland will be developed into commercial, business, and industrial park, and how that will basically function adjacent to existing residential industrial development in the town. So we had a certain number of objectives that the area structure plan fulfilled. There are 11 of them. We are to create a flexible development concept, basically so that development can occur in line with the development concept, but it's not held rigorously to it. To provide investment security and land use predictability so that people investing in the area know what's going to happen, and landowners can understand what will happen. To sensitively integrate development with existing development. As we know, there's residential and existing industrial development and 2 highways that impact the plan area. To promote high quality development so that the area will be an attractive area within town for developers to come in and develop their land. To recognize the importance of agriculture in the region so that when the plan area is building out, it's still supported for agricultural development. to provide more opportunities for commercial and industrial development. As we know in the town, that was a need for more industrial and commercial land. And this will diversify development but not take away from the downtown commercial opportunities. To fulfill requirements for municipal reserve dedication, so how the 10% that's required with the MGA will be built out within the plan area. To efficiently and safely move people and goods with the transportation corridor, Highway 2, and then also Highway 520. To provide service lots that are efficient, fully serviced lots for commercial and industrial development. To ensure that the plan area is efficiently and effectively serviced with stormwater management facilities, and that's also further illustrated in our staging concept. And then for efficient, economical, and logical phasing of development, so that when the plan area builds out so that the storm ponds are developed first, and it develops in a way that's economically feasible. So for the location and context, it's just located to the east of the current Highway 2 alignment. It was informed by the Highway 2 realignment, which was a 2007 study. There are no legal boundaries that were established with the realignment right of way, but it has informed that eastern plan boundary. As you can see, it kind of like curves in a little bit to allow for the highway to be realigned. And then Highway 520 bisects the plan area from east to west. So there's 4 separate entities that own within the plan area. You can see the 2 major landowners, then landowner number 3's got a small piece, and then the MD has a small piece in the southwest corner. For opportunities and constraints, there were a few things that informed the plan area. There are 6 right-of-way agreements that are gas, water, power, and then there's a power line to be abandoned. You can kind of see it running from north to south east. It's number 2. There are 3 ephemeral water bodies identified, and the high point is in northeast corner and the low point's in the southwest corner, which is also informed the stormwater management concept. The supportive reports that informed the area structure plan were the biophysical assessment, geotechnical investigation, the ESA, the traffic impact assessment, and historical resources overview. There were no main findings on any of these. The biophysical assessment, just the thermal water bodies, and the traffic impact assessment helped inform our transportation concept. For policy, the ASP aligns with the Municipal Government Act, the NDP, and the LUB. As you can see in the land use concept for the municipal development plan, it aligns with industrial commercial north of Highway 520, commercial to the south of Highway 520, and we've also placed commercial on the northern portion of 520 for consistency, and the industrial portion is just adjacent to the industrial that exists in the southernmost corner of Claire's home. The intent of the development concepts to provide guidance for direction of development, to provide efficient, economical, and staged servicing and transportation solutions, to respect the national environment, and to stage development in a logical pattern. As previously stated, we hosted a public open house on September 18th. We had about 35 people there. And following the discussions, we made some changes to the type of parks, the location of parks, and the sizing of stormwater management facilities. The full development concept was basically based off of the land use design principles. So we wanted a mix of business and industrial lots so that it would be attractive to different types of investors, high visibility business exposure with Highway 520 and Highway 2 realignment, excellent commercial access using those 2 highways, adequate transitions from the existing residential in the northwest corner, and then with industrial place adjacent, respecting the fact that downtown commercial business has its place, and as does highway commercial, maintaining existing natural topography. As I showed you, the high point and the low point informed our stormwater management, and the provided fully serviced lots. We split up our development into 3 precincts. The first one is the business industrial precinct. That's the northern portion of the plan area, and that's basically for business industrial uses. Precinct 2 is directed towards highway commercial uses. And then precinct 3 is sort of in line with the existing industrial in the area, which is a medium industrial use. So after all of the discussions with landowners, with the public, with administration, this is a development concept that came of that. As you can see, we have a large park space in the north. We have the business industrial following that, 3 stormwater management facilities, commercial on both sides of Highway 520, and then the industrial towards the south. And this is the way that we've aligned the development concept is in line with the Highway 2 realignment. These are the land use statistics that were generated in line with the municipal development plan. The gross area, that the whole plan area comprises 69.53 hectares. The municipal reserve is 4.919 hectares in area and 6.2%. And after we take out municipal reserve, stormwater management, and roads for circulation, we're left with 53.35 hectares for developable area. The parks and open space are comprise 4.19 hectares dedicated of actual land, and the park space will be dedicated through a mix of cash in lieu and actual land. The large park space in the north helps to buffer the residential uses from industrial uses, and the linear park space adjacent to Highway 520 fit in line with that commercial use adjacent to 520. The business industrial makes up 30.5% of the plan area, and this is more compatible with residential uses. Highway commercial is 8.6% of the plan area, and this will be highly accessible to people traveling in east-west alignment of 520. And then the industrial makes up 40.4% of the plan area, and this is also sticking in line with the separation required from existing residential uses, and these parcels might have outdoor activity and outdoor storage that would be more in line with adjacent industrial development. For transportation, Alberta Transportation says that we cannot have access off of Highway 520 into the plan area, so the access from Highway 520 will be off of 5th Street East. Both 5th Street East and Highway 520 will require highway widenings to allow for increased traffic volumes. Eventually, signalization will be required at 5th Street East and Highway 520 to allow for safe access into and out of the plan area. The plan area will be accessed through several all-directional accesses off of 5th Street East. For water, we have 6 tie-ins that terminate at 5th Street. The proposed water line will travel along 5th Street. The existing water treatment should be adequate for 20 years of growth, which includes the plant area, but we've identified a future water reservoir and pumping station upgrade in the next, basically after the plant area builds out to allow for increased capacity. For sanitary, we have it fed through gravity sewer mains. There'll be a new trunk along 5th Street East to connect to the existing water system, and there will be an off-site upgrade that's required for full build-out. You can see it in the southwest corner of the plan area. And the sewage treatment and storage lagoon should be adequate to accommodate 20 years of growth. For our stormwater management facilities, we have 2 wet ponds and 1 dry pond. The wet ponds are, you can see the arrows pointing towards them, A and C. All stormwater will run through these 2 facilities, and the dry pond, B, against Highway 520, will be a minimal treatment pond that will be used to catch any stormwater runoffs before it affects Highway 520. For implementation of the plan, we have a 3-staged approach, and this allows us to develop the stormwater management facility so that that's one of the first things that's built. So stage 1 is right along 5th Street East, and you can see that it incorporates that stormwater facility in the southernmost portion. Stage 2 will include 2 more of the stormwater management facilities and against Highway 520. And stage 3 will be in the northeast corner of the plan area, adjacent to the future Highway 2 right-of-way. now time for questions or comments.
Do we know how many accesses are gonna cut across to Fifth Street and over? Cause there's none there right now, yeah, so there'd be at least
Done with
one.
that? We're gonna keep it.
It's kind of off the map of where I'm thinking, but just to the west of the map. That's
Where do you mean?
no additional, because there's like fields there by UFA, just north of UFA.
Oh, that's nothing to do with this development.
But I
that'll
mean,
be
I
future.
thought she said there was gonna be streets cutting across.
There are three. Like if you look at the top, there's the northernmost is all directional, and then the bottom two are all directional.
You
that
see the
cut in.
arrows on them? The ones that you're talking about, there's no directions
Oh, I
through
see
those
it.
fields.
Just a T.
Yeah, T intersections.
Okay.
So there'll be the main artery, Fifth, and then there'll be one,
There'll be
two, three directional, so it can go west and east. Yes.
I guess I have a comment or two. So at some point when the developer is interested in land, that's when the actual infrastructure starts to be put in place?
Yeah, we'll make a long-range plan where we will be identifying the infrastructure needed, do a budgetary layout of that infrastructure, and then when the land is sold, that'll be the towns will
Okay.
step in and,
I get the reason for the question is when does it kick in the change in the tax scheme from municipal rate to town rate, and that's at the change of ownership of land, correct?
that's a change of ownership of land.
Right.
So the development will happen after change of ownership.
Right. So that's the first thing in the development is the change of ownership, and then
Yeah,
Development
we'll be
commences.
looking for, Marion wants to jump in, but we'll be looking for a developer to come in and take phases of this and purchase
Right.
the phases. And they will be coming with an agreement between, there'll be three parties, the town, the landowner, and the developer. So at that
Right.
time, it would change hands,
okay,
and the tax structure would change.
As per the annexation agreement, it
Yeah.
will be upon development, upon subdivision or sale,
Or change of,
or
Yeah.
rezoning.
change of purpose, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I just, in case I get questions from our landowners, and the portion the MD owns, that must be just a meter vault for the
that's
ground
down,
water.
that's the Granham water vault.
Okay, so it's like a 10 by 10 or something, it's a small,
I'm not sure, it's not very big, I'm not
Yeah,
sure exactly
okay.
how many square feet it is.
yeah, okay, and I guess my last comment is, somewhere between the stage of the development application when they're starting to move topsoil, and then there's businesses occupying the developed land, I guess the municipality would like you to be very aware of the weed problem that will develop once you start removing topsoil, and that affects our downwind landowners, and so anyways, I just wanna
No,
remind
it's
everybody.
that's a good point, and the town does keep on top of landowners currently for weed controls, and we would certainly double down on that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, by the time you remove topsoil, that there's some actual people, on the ground soon, but in case, a developer comes in and develops 10 lots, and 3 sell immediately, and 7 sit idle for a number of years or months even.
Yeah.
Even when growing season, there gets to be a big weed problem that can spread with the wind.
No, I can assure you, we will try and keep
Quick
weed
fast.
control under.
Yeah, okay. And so the stormwater ponds, when do they come into it? Like, are they, with the first development, then are they needed to be built as soon as there's a development application?
Well, the first development, phase one, as pointed out, had a stormwater
Yeah.
pond at the far south end, which would collect. And if it moved into phase two, where there was substantial development going on,
Yeah.
the next 2 ponds would be built.
Because that's my same thing with the stormwater ponds is the weed problem, because the south one's a dry pond, right?
Well, that's, a dry pond typically means temporary collection. But
Right, but the dry pond is maybe the worst one because it goes from dry to wet, so it's gonna have a whole
Well,
lot of weed problems that you don't have one that's
Well,
strictly
phase
wet.
one has the main one in here, and here's your dry pond.
Yeah, oh, that's the dry
So
pond.
the dry pond is a slow release, which will be caught
Right,
by the south one.
okay. Anyways, those are just comments, I had more than questions, I guess, mainly about the weed problem and when the tax change happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the floor? From councillors?
Looks good to me, Mr. Mayor.
Don't point at me, point at the engineering outfit. Did a
Right.
fairly
Only
fine
obviously-
job on this.
Is it just, the stormwater, management? Is it just open holes, or do you gotta actually manually open to adjust the water flows?
I can answer that one. Excuse me. No, it's a managed facility, so there'll be pipes coming in to below the water surface, and then when water level rises to a specific level, then there's typically an outfall structure that has a weir in it, and then the water flows into a pipe from the pond during those stormwater events.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Well, if there's no further questions, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Schlossberger? All in favor of closing the public hearing? Carried. I'll need a motion to reopen the council meeting.
I'll make a motion that we reopen our regularly scheduled meeting.
Are we going too fast there, Corinne?
No, I got it.
All in favor? Carried, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
One more time there.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks. It'll go out in a minute, but it's, thanks.
Here.
Okay, just give me a minute to get,
That's how you turn a light off. It's a cool down period, right? Oh, that's in our budget for a new one.
okay. Okay. Bylaw 1652, the land use bylaw amendment. If we could get a motion for a second reading?
I'll make that motion for the second.
Councillor
reading.
Carlson, question?
Moved by Councillor Carlson to give bylaw number 1652, a land use bylaw amendment, second reading.
All in favor? Carried. And third reading.
I'll move to give bylaw 1652 a third reading.
Question?
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to give bylaw number 1652, a land use bylaw amendment, third and final reading.
All in favor? Carried. Okay. Thanks, Gab.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gavin.
Okay, we'll move on to bylaw 1657, Starline Business Park Area Structural Plan. I would ask for a second, motion for second reading.
I'll make its motion for a second reading on bylaws 1657.
Question?
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger to give bylaw number 1657 regarding the Starline Business Park Area Structure Plan, second reading.
All in favor? Carried. Third reading?
I'll make a motion for third reading of 1657.
Question?
Moved by Councillor Carlson to give bylaw number 1657 regarding the Starline Business Park Area Structure Plan, third and final reading.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks very much.
See ya.
See you, Dave. Thank you. Take care. Okay, we'll move on. We have a letter from the Honorable Shay Anderson. take that for information. Any questions on it for Marion? Really, it's not
There's
gonna
no
affect us very much. It's, unless you live in Calgary or Edmonton.
We may have funding at some point in time.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Marion?
That would be, I guess, the upside of this is that there is legislation now as precedent for the cities, so hopefully there will be legislation that's implemented that will provide sustainable funding for other municipalities throughout the province to replace MSI when it's
It expires in 21, yeah. Well, hopefully something comes of this. It's a start. Number 4, correspondence. Oops, let me move to it. The President, Bay UMA on Bill 32. Again, this is just information. Anything you want to add, Marion? Same
same
information.
concept. AUMA is pleased to see that there is some legislation in place.
Number 5 is Deputy Minister Brad Pickering. And we'll take this for information. It's on the accountability, the MAP program, Municipal Accountability Program. It's simply a review. Your number comes up. It's like getting a personal audit. Your number comes up. They're going to run through. It'll be all Marion taking care of that. It won't affect us at all.
Well, there will be a report that's presented to council
Yeah.
at the end of the review.
Yeah, we get to read the end result.
All municipalities under 5,000 population will be subject to this municipal accountability program. And so, yeah, they just come in and review processes with policies, bylaws, and procedures, and then give recommendations on where we can improve operations.
They kind of sit through a council meeting and see what you guys are doing right or wrong.
Like an evaluation.
Yeah, a total evaluation of the system. Number 6 is correspondence, Alberta Emergency Management Agency. This is for information. Marion, you've got a little bit of an overview on this.
Yes, so we've discussed this briefly as part of some of our other meetings with budget and those meetings. But there is some changes coming to the Emergency Management Act and the regulations that have been put in place. They will be dealing with clarification on emergency management committees, agencies, as well as regional collaboration. There will be some additional training requirements included. There's also some legislation or regulations now around emergency management plans and emergency management exercises. So there will be requirements there for annual exercises to be held so that communities are more prepared as we move into the future with any instances that we may face from an emergency management perspective.
Okay, we'll take that for information. The next one. Oh, this is LLP. Richard and Farmer, the lawyer outfit, is offering a law seminar. It's similar to the one we all signed up for last meeting, was it not?
It's similar to the Brownlee session, yes.
Yeah.
We do have the subjects there. RMRF is also specializes in municipal law. So their sessions are constitutional challenges to municipal bylaws, procurement pitfalls, and how municipalities can provide services and operate facilities with so many choices in front of you. So I intend to attend this session, and I would welcome any councillors to attend as well.
So you guys think about that and just let administration know. Okay, we'll take it for information. Move on to Alberta Recreation and Parks Association Community Choose Well Healthy Community Award. They don't know who the mayor is, but everything else they got right.
I think they missed that part.
Marion, you want to give an overview on that?
So we've talked about this before, and there was actually an article in the paper. Denise was at the conference in Jasper to accept this award on our behalf from Alberta Parks Recreation and Parks Association, the Communities Choose Well Healthy initiatives. So congratulations to council for those policies and actually budget allocations that have been put towards our pathway systems and other initiatives within the community that we were successful in this award, so it's good news.
Number 9, we have correspondence Alberta Health Services, celebrating 10 years of health transformation in Alberta. Well, we can, there's nothing here that we have to do, it's just information, so we'll take it as information. Request for decision, budget 2019. Marion, you're up.
All right. So the Audit and Finance Committee, as well as the Facility and Infrastructure Planning Committee, have been working on the operational and capital budgets over the last couple of months. And we're pleased to present to Council tonight a balanced budget for your consideration. In the operations budget, I'll just give you a few of the highlights. Despite the continual upward pressure on municipal costs, we've been able to maintain a 2% increase in our projected tax revenue. And some of the projects that affect the town's expenditures are, we have the new union contract that is presented for your ratification tonight as well, for 2019 through 2022. We have continued work on our MGA mandated intermunicipal development plans, and intermunicipal collaboration framework is included in there. We have significant telecommunications savings due to new contracts that we've entered into for our TELUS Mobility and our landline services. And we continue to increase our administrative efficiencies with the reduction of our carbon footprint. We're looking at increased spending on programs that will give us paperless archival systems, and also we have an increase in savings in our postage and paper and printing and administrative time due to our electronic fund transfer and online bill receipts. For 2019 capital projects, we continue to carry forward phase 1 of our municipal stormwater project upgrade. We have an additional $1.5 million for phase 2, which we projected to have 90% funded through the Alberta Community Resilience Program grant. We are still awaiting the award of that grant, so if that is unsuccessful, then that project will have to be just held for a short period of time until we can find a grant to help that. But we've been very successful and feel confident that the work that we've done to date will be a great benefit to the community from a stormwater management perspective, and we're currently in process of the final stage of that with the work that's being done at the golf course currently. We have $470,000 in the budget for paving of streets on a priority basis, as well as addressing some of our underground infrastructure repairs that are required prior to that paving. $150,000 for additional new pathways, and that's in partnership with other organizations in the community, our nonprofit organizations, specifically the Kinsman Club, who has supported us in other initiatives. There's $140,000 in fleet replacements, including the replacement of a gravel truck, and $3.8 million for the multi-use community complex renovation, as was a priority of council, and $136,000 for other equipment upgrades and replacements. I just have one other comment that I'd like to make on the budget, and this is, since it was presented to the Audit and Finance Committee, there was, if you recall, a $6,000 amount that had to be reserved. So we have a policy in place that the advertising at the arena, the revenue from that will be reserved for future upgrades to the arena, and that was missed in the last presentation, and so we caught that. And we've got the amount now reserved in this budget, And we just were able to find that through some of our admin costs with our computer and office and equipment and repairs. So we just took it from a few different locations to make up that 6,000 to have the balanced budget. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention because it's different than what was presented at the Audit and Finance Committee.
Okay. Any questions for Marion?
This is when we're going to pass it tonight?
Well, we will, but right now, just, do you have any questions for it or
'Cause
any observations?
aren't we meeting on the 17th for something?
The
That's the
17th
multi-use
is
building.
for our 3-year operational plan, because we do need to have a 3-year operational and a 5-year capital plan in place. We didn't have time at the last meeting to finalize that, and so we're just meeting to review that.
There's a multi-use building meeting that day is also, isn't
I
there?
believe earlier in the day,
Yeah,
correct?
earlier in the day. So is there any questions on the budget presented? You guys are well familiar with it. You guys sat through the meetings. I played catch up yesterday and read it all, so. Okay, if I could get a motion to approve the 2019 operational capital budget. Councillor Carlson. Question, please?
Moved by Councillor Carlson to approve the 2019 operational and capital budgets as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, request for decision. This is the CUPE agreement that we negotiated. Marion, you probably have something to say about that.
I always have something to say.
Yeah.
The Wage Negotiating Committee, Administration and Council has been working along with the union representatives to negotiate a contract for the upcoming years. We are presenting tonight for ratification of council the 2019 to 2022 collective agreement. This has not been ratified yet by the union. It will take both bodies to ratify the contract prior to us making the details of that public, but council is aware of the terms of that
Yeah.
contract. So we would ask for a resolution to ratify that tonight.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to ratify the QP Local 323 agreement.
question.
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger to ratify the 2019 to 2022 collective agreement between QP Local 3023 and the Town of Clarksville.
All in favor? Carried. Financial report, statement of operations, any questions on it? Comments? Pros, cons? Take it for information? Or do we need a motion for that? We need a motion for that. Well, that's
I'll make a motion to accept the income statements as presented.
question.
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to accept the consolidated statement of operations for the month ended November 30th, 2018 as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Next one, information brief. Fort Macleod. This is it's going to be a pilot project to get a bus from Fort Macleod to Calgary, and the information is all laid out here. I think it'd be great for Claresholm because we may not personally use it, but to a lot of people it's a big thing. Marion, you got a little bit of anything to throw into it, or?
Well, the town of Fort Macleod has been negotiating with a private operator to, as you said, provide service from Fort Macleod to Calgary, and they've recommended that they consider stopping in both Claresholm and Nanton. So they are planning to start their pilot project, I believe it's the 15th of January, and they anticipate going 3 days a week for the beginning. If it's successful, they may expand that. And so I believe the idea is to stop, if they're southbound at the Fast Gas and northbound to stop at Top Hand Western Store. And there's some departure times and arrival times as well as the fees included in your package. So I think it's an opportunity for some of our residents who otherwise wouldn't have transportation to and from the city.
Yeah.
One is to downtown and the other is to the airport, I believe is the location, so.
YYC. I think that's great, especially for like a facility like ADAC that requires busing to get to the town. I mean, it's definitely going to help the town. So we'll take it for information and move on. Next information is strategic plan report. Marion, anything to comment on here? It's pretty good.
It's just the update on progress we've made to date on council's year one strategic priorities. As you can see from the report, there's been a lot of
Activity.
progress made on some of the projects. Some are still awaiting some further work, but the majority are starting to see some success. So.
Information items. Oh, wait a minute, I skipped one, did I not? Council resolution status, it's an information brief. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to adoption of information items. Somebody would like to make that motion? Any questions arising out of the information?
Oh, they all look good to me. I'll make a motion to accept the information items as presented.
Question?
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to accept the information items as presented.
All in favor? Okay, a motion to go in camera, please. Oh, and go ahead.
I thought the information items, but that was
Nope.
what we just did.
Motion to go in camera.
I can make that motion.
All in favor? Okay, if we could turn off the camera, please. Move along. Okay, thumbs up, we're back. A motion to come out of in camera, please.
I'll make a motion that we come out of in camera.
All in favor of coming out of in camera? Carried. Okay, we will first off need a motion to extend the Baptist Church caveat on this property.
Not yet.
That's the first one. Land.
Okay. Yep, sorry.
Nope, sorry.
Yep. I apologize for 2 years.
Should we switch it?
No, I apologize. I just did that. slipped
Okay,
my mind.
we'll need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we'll let Corinne catch up.
The option to purchase.
Maybe we should all yell at the camera. Are you listening, Mike?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
That's it. Okay. So
Okay.
moved by Councillor Schlossberger to extend the option to purchase agreement with Faith Community Baptist Church for a period of 24 months.
All in favor? Carried. And the next one,
Sorry, just for clarification, we should just add to that motion, I apologize, just the legal description on this property.
yeah,
We'll add that to the motion.
you okay with that, Brad? That was your
Yep.
motion? Okay, my list, the next one was the hiring of MPE. Is that on your list, Marion? Okay. Okay, if I could get a motion to hire MPE to do an evaluation on the threeplex down by Emerson Park. And we'll put the legal description of the property on there. Question?
Moved by Councillor Carlson to contract MPE Engineering to conduct a condition review and code compliance cost estimate on the properties located at 232, 234, and 236 50th Avenue West for $8,800 plus GST.
All in favor? Carried. That's all that came out of that. Okay, a motion to adjourn, please. Councillor Carlson, we are adjourned. Camera off, please.